Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely and I'm really excited about this video because I am going to solve one of the biggest problems facing new disc golfers for sure, but also experienced disc golfers as well. And the problem is putting the nose up on your backhand. Now what that looks like is when you throw a backhand, you should see the side profile of the disc on most shots. You can intentionally put the nose up for specific reasons. That's really high level technique. But at a base level, you want to see the thinnest part of the disc. If, when you throw the backhand, you see the top of the disc when the disc flies, or if you see just the profile of the disc, but when the disc fades, you see the top of the disc, it means you're putting the nose up. If you put the nose up on the disc, you're losing a ton of distance, and you're also throwing a shot that's harder to control. You have to be able to not do that if you want to be good at this game. Now, before I go on, I just introduced a 6-month online disc golf course. It's how to become a complete disc golfer. There's going to be a link down below to a video that explains how the 6-month course is going to work. I'm limiting signups for this initial period to 200 players. I think 120 are signed up as of this morning. This first 200 will fill for sure. However, if it is full, not a big deal. If there's no tickets left, get on the wait list. I should be starting another class in 2 months that you can become a part of. So if it's full, no big deal. You'll just have to wait a couple months. But I'm really excited about it. Just watch the video below. Okay, so right off the bat, I suspect most of you have seen videos on how to throw flat. And you're watching this video because it doesn't work. Well, there's 2 reasons for this. Number one, this is hard. In fact, this is going to be a little bit of a longer video. This is not easy. It's simple, not easy. And number 2, there's some bad information out there. So let's start from scratch. I've worked with several thousand players in private lessons. I've worked with several thousand players in seminars. 0 players that I work with that do exactly what I'm about to tell you throw the disc with the nose up when they're done. You have my word. If you follow this step by step, this will work for you. I promise. Okay, so first off, there are multiple causes for the nose going up, kind of. The nose going up on the disc is actually just one thing, but there's multiple things that cause the one thing to happen. And it's borderline irrelevant, but I'll go through them because you've probably watched video of yourself and you probably recognize one of these. Either you are swooping the disc, or you're dipping with your body, or you are starting the disc at an angle like this on the backswing, meaning when you pull the disc to flat, it's going to continue up. Or you're simply pulling the disc with the nose up, or you're pulling the disc straight and then flipping the nose up at the end. All 5 of those are actually the exact same thing. You're doing something that, to my knowledge, you will not hear this word once on any other YouTube video about keeping the nose flat, which is crazy because this is the cause. From your elbow to your wrist, you are swiveling. All 5 of those, in one form or another, are swivel. What I mean by this is if you could magically make my hand disappear and every part of my body from the elbow up disappear, and all you had left was my forearm. On all 5 of those mistake or incorrect mechanics, the arm would be rotating this direction, this way. That is the only thing that can put the nose up on the disc. If the disc leaves your hand and at no point did the nose of the disc go up, it cannot just magically go up in the air. You had to swivel to make that happen. So I'm going to start with the easy solve that's going to work for some of you. But if you try this and it doesn't work, don't worry. I have a fix that will work. It'll just take more time. So the first easy solve is your elbow and wrist are hinges. The hinges move parallel to the ground. That's all this is. Your elbow is here. Here's the hinge. Arm, forearm. This hinge of the elbow moves this direction. Your wrist is a hinge. Your forearm and your hand parallel to the ground. This hinge moves this direction. If you start the disc flat, if the disc remains flat and goes parallel to the ground, just like both of these hinges are parallel to the ground, the nose of the disc cannot go up. It is physically impossible to put the nose up. So you are not going to dip your body down and up. You are going to move parallel to the ground. You are going to pull the disc parallel to the ground. The disc is going to start flat and remain flat. And these hinges are going to bend this way, and I don't want to say most important, but very important, your follow through remains parallel to the ground. At no point are you going to swivel your wrist this direction. If you do that, the nose doesn't go up, period. It cannot go up. So the first thing you're going to do is everything is parallel to the ground. Disc, movement, elbow, wrist. Now, here's the neat thing about this. This is the most natural motion for your elbow when your upper arm is right here. When your forearm is here, here is the most natural motion for your wrist. Keeping the disc flat is actually making your elbow and wrist move in their most natural motion. Not only is that where you are strongest, it is also putting the least amount of stress on your joints and causing the least amount of injury. Anything other than a natural movement of your wrist or your elbow, you're asking yourself to get hurt. So the correct way to throw is actually the safest way to throw. It's really cool. Now, that's gonna work for some of you. When I work with people and I coach them, I have them do that. And it works for some, then it doesn't work for others. So the next step is, and I hate to do this because it's so not politically correct, but the next step is, what you're going to do is you're going to backhand somebody across the face. And again, for politically correct reasons, let's say the person is your same gender and they outweigh you by 50 pounds. All right, you're hitting someone bigger than you. But when you slap someone across the face, hypothetically, you use the back of your hand. If you were in France, you would take off your glove and you would challenge them to a duel. But this motion goes this direction. It does not swivel this direction ever. Backhand somebody. That's the next step. Does it work to throw while backhanding somebody? If it doesn't, that's where the work begins. And I'm 40 or 50% of you at this point, problem solved. 40 to 50%, we got work to do. This is a drill, but this is the drill that is going to work. First, keep this in your mind. This is how you're going to get snap, and it's going to relate to this because if you're swiveling, you've never felt snap. You're about to feel snap for the first time. So watch. Look at the speed of my forearm. How fast my forearm is traveling through space. Now, watch what happens when my wrist doesn't swivel, but the hinge goes its natural motion. When I do this, my fingers are probably going 5 times the speed of my wrist. That's snap. Wrist goes this speed, fingers go 5 times as fast. It's what happens to the lash of a whip, why a whip cracks, why the handle goes 30 miles an hour and the tip breaks the speed of sound. It accelerates towards the end. This is an acceleration. If, however, you swivel your forearm, watch the tips of my fingers relative to my wrist. Watch how fast they go. They literally, when I do this, when I swivel this motion, my fingertips are going the exact same speed as my wrist. Not only would you never backhand somebody this way, this is not accelerating, that is not cracking the whip. What you're gonna have to do is force yourself to throw wrong. But if you throw wrong, we can fix this. So you are no longer at this point trying to throw correctly. You are throwing incorrectly. In fact, 3 different ways you're throwing incorrectly in order to fix the problem. So here's what you're going to do. The end goal is to throw flat. You're not going to throw flat. And in fact, at this point on this drill, if the disc leaves your hand flat, you've thrown wrong. So here's what you're going to do. Number 1, you're going to start the disc at an Anheuser angle. Now, if you want to throw flat, the disc starts and stays flat. So you're incorrectly starting at an Anheuser angle. Remember, it's a drill. Number 2, normally you pull across the part of your body where you have the most strength, which is somewhere around here in your chest. For this drill, you're going to incorrectly pull the disc across your shoulders or maybe even across your face. And number 3, if you want to throw flat, you would normally follow through parallel to the ground. But in this drill, you're going to follow through down. The idea is we are over-exaggerating the motion opposite of the swivel, because the swivel is what's broken. That motion's broken. This is correct. We're going to over-exaggerate it the opposite direction. This is what it's going to look like. When you throw that shot and you're working on this drill, you are not trying to throw flat. You're lined up this direction, yet you're going to throw like 15 degrees to the right, and you're going to land into the ground on a cut roller. Remember, you put it at an Anheuser, you pulled it across your face, you followed through down, you cut that disc into the ground on the right. When I'm teaching someone, the moment they do that, and this is the worst throw they've had the whole lesson, the minute they throw that cut roller off to the right, I high-five them. And they're like, what are you doing? I go, we just solved it. We've gotten rid of the nose up. The first time you do this, cut roller off to the right, you're going to feel it snap off your fingers. That is snap. It's probably the first time you've ever felt it if you've been swiveling. And once you've done that and you've cut the disc too much, then all you got to do is a little bit less Anheuser, a little bit lower than your face, a little bit less follow through. We over exaggerate past that angle you want. And then you go backwards until you get the disc flat. 0 people I've worked with are unable to do this. You have to be willing to throw wrong on purpose to learn to throw correctly if the initial solve doesn't work. Final tip. This is like bonus content. But one of the biggest mistakes or biggest reasons why players get this wrong is you'll see good players, even pros, stand on the tee pad and line up their shots, and you'll see them, they'll be lining up their shots like this, right? Okay, I'm going to be throwing. None of them actually throw this way. That's the swivel. If they're trying to put the nose up on an approach shot, yes. But on their drives, that's not what they're doing. I see players all the time do this. They put the nose up on the disc. I take the disc out of their hand, and I see them walking through. I say, well, show me what a throw looks like. And they do this. They just swiveled right there. And I'll even tell them, don't swivel. And they'll say, okay, I won't swivel. And they do this. And the minute their arm's out of sight, it swivels up again. The drill, when you're at home watching you're watching coverage, and you're watching players and you're going through the motions, all you got to do is just make sure that you're doing this motion. You're giving someone a backhand. Look down. Are you still parallel to the ground? When you're going through the motion of a throw, make sure you're doing this. Never again, for the rest of your life, do you ever line up a shot like this. That is a bad habit that has to be broken. This will work. If you do this, the nose will not go up on the disc. You're going to get more distance. You're going to get accuracy. You're going to feel snap for the first time. And there's a lot more where this came from. Of course, I'm going to plug my class at the end of the video because I just got your nose flat. So check out my video below, my 6-month Become a Complete Disc Golfer class. Again, I only have like 80 tickets left for the first 200. It's going to sell out for sure. If it does, no big deal. Just get on the wait list and you'll be notified when the next class 6-month starts up. I don't have to wait 6 months to start the next 6-month class. I'll probably start it in 2-month cycles. So get on the wait list down below for the 6-month class. By the way, you can pay month to month if that's better for your budget, or you can pay all at once. But if you want to just sign up for a recurring, 39 bucks a month for the 6-month class, you can do that too. All right, enough of that. I hope this helps. Not I hope this helps. It will help. And again, there's more where this came from. Thanks, everyone.